Hello, class. Um, so answering the first question, which is the question for my paper, and is there a process that leads to successful hiring? So I think you guys saw my video before. I'm a office manager for eye clinic, and that's definitely one of my number one struggles is finding the right fit, finding the right person. They say be slow to hire but quick to fire, because once you offer the position to that person, there's a lot of training time, money that's invested on that employee, and you have 90 days to decide if you made the right choice or not. And once that person stays after 90 days, it makes it really hard to fire that person if they ended up not being the right fit. So that's my focus of the paper is um, trying to find that right candidate and how I can make that happen on a for sure way. So some of my themes are what's the screening process? What should we do besides the interview? Besides looking at the resume, when does that start? I believe most of you knows that just by looking at the resumes, you can decide if you want to have that candidate come for an interview or not. So that's part of the screening process. And what's the most important of that part? What's the most applicable? And what qualities do you want on that person? Do you want crap qualities? Do you want that person to have a great personality, or would you rather that person to have great skills? What's the most important? Um, each company has its own culture, and a lot of times that's what we're looking for is find that right fit, the person that will have the will adapt to our culture. So sometimes you have to weigh on a scale. This person have really great skills, I'm sure they can do the job, but maybe they don't have the right personality, maybe they don't understand the culture. So some of those are some of my themes. So the gap that I found with this research is um, unless there's a really specialized position like a doctor, the optometrist, um, you do have to have that certification. They have to go to school. But other positions that we have a person that's in charge of verifying insurance, which there's no school requirement. It's something that we can train. An optician, which is a person that will help the patient to pick up the frame, adjust the frame. There's a lot of physics and understanding how that works, but yet we can train that person. There are certifications that they can take, but the reality is for them to be able to take certification, they have to work at a job first. We have a technician as well, which they prep the patient for the doctor. And again, they don't need to have any degree. They can take certification, but they have to work before they get their certification. So a lot of the positions that we have, we can train the employee. And that's what the gap is. Um, what's the risk of hiring that person without them having certain degree or information? Can that cause a problem to the patient? Um, can that be detrimental to the practice? So that's the biggest gap, is trying to find out um, how you can decide if the training is enough without requiring a specialization for the person. So the way I would like to fill that gap is um, and this is kind of answering my whole proposal, is to do a test. So I would invite 20 practices in Utah to participate on this, where we would come up with a test that each candidate would take that test, and they would have to have at least 75% to pass the test. And we would train 4 managers to be able to apply the test, to understand the test, so they could go to visit each practice to administer the test. So what I would like to propose with this is, if you have a test, it's kind of like some degrees. After you go through the school, you have to take a test to be able to be licensed, to be able to practice. And that's kind of what it entitles, is after you take that test and you pass, then we know that you fit the culture, we know you have the great skills, and we know that you're the right candidate. I don't want to go too over on this video, but basically that's what I want to propose. Thank you.